is at work. Jupiter is at work here. So by Jupiter being at work, that means sometimes it may be a lot of things that have no meaning behind it or have no experience behind it. So this is what allows Geminis to be able to talk about any and everything, because everything doesn't have to have a meaning to it. We could be talking about sports, we could be talking about this, that, and the third, just for the sake of conversation. Everything doesn't have to be too deep. We doesn't have to be philosophers. We don't always got to be teaching somebody. We could just be talking to somebody, relating to somebody. We don't always have to be learning. We could be thinking. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference between Jupiter and Mercury. You know what I'm saying? Now Mercury. Now, as far as Jupiter being at work here, some Geminis in this lifetime may have to work on putting meaning behind things. Work on having more faith. Work on looking at the broader perspective other than just trying to relate and create something that can be suitable to for others to understand. Sometimes you have to come across non-understandable. Sometimes you don't have to explain yourself. Sometimes you don't have to let people know the meanings behind things. You know what I'm saying? But for this sake, you have to work on that. You have to work on expressing the meaning behind something and not just wording it right all the time, or not putting out words and making people think one way because of how you said it, but you feel a whole nother way about it, and not just holding that to yourself. Sometimes you have to give that to people. Sometimes you have to give that inside to people, because if you never do and you're just giving out a bunch of words to create what you think you're trying to create but feel a whole nother way about it, people is going to look at you. They may not know exactly what you're doing, but they're going to look at you in ways that in slight ways they don't know you, or in slight ways they unpredictable, or in slight ways they're going to start looking at you in ways that, like, okay, what is this true person's goals or meanings? And you're going to start not understanding why people are looking at you like that, because you think you're doing the right thing by concealing this in and only letting this out. If y'all get what I'm understanding, get what I'm trying to say. If you're a Gemini, I think you get what I'm trying to say, or how I'm trying to percept it. See, I'm an Aries Sun, Sag Moon, Leo Rising, Mercury in Aries. I really don't know how to put in exact words or word it right, so all I can do is express to y'all and get passionate about it and hope y'all feel me and see it the way I'm trying to put it. I might even not know, I'm not even good with words and language like that. And it's good for me to say that for my sextile partner, which is Gemini, which I'm talking about right now, because maybe I'm trying to say to y'all, for y'all can kind of understand. Like I said, the fire is the emotional support for the air, and the water is the emotional support for the earth. Earth is the idea and the thinking support for the water, and air is the communication and the thinking support for the fire emotions and feelings. So that's what I'm saying. I need y'all to help me, but I think y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's Gemini's about that life, loyalty. I'm gonna say yes and no, because it's two different sides now. Two different sides. Like I said, it's the communication, the thinking, and it also likes to relate. But like I said, it also likes to manipulate. See, everything I was just talking about, that is manipulation. So if you're a person who feel like you don't manipulate and you're a Gemini, I bet you do that. That is a form of manipulation. When you put out a perception, for an example, say I'm a Gemini right now, right? And I want to do something with somebody, right? I want to talk to a girl, right? And I just met her off Facebook, right? Now, instead of being upfront and direct, which I can learn from my sextile partner, Aries, instead of saying I want to take her out, I may ask her a question that has nothing to do with nothing. It may be a post that she may have posted last week on Facebook. I may have just asked her about it this week and just asked a simple question that holds no response to anything or anything that can attach me to me asking a question, well, can we go on a date? So, for an example, if I'm the Gemini, the reason of me being on her page and writing her is because I like her and want to take her out. But what I actually said to her was something that was non-related to anything. It was just a question to ask her just to see if I could spark a conversation with her. So that's manipulation. So you probably thinking in your head as a Gemini, okay, depending on what she say, that's how I'm going to respond. and then I'm gonna kind of come up with some kind of, and sometimes you may not ever get that far. That's what you gotta understand. You gotta learn how to a little bit direct sometimes, and then learn to be a little bit more practical with your previous sign Taurus, and then, you know what I'm saying, then use that air skill. But, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with that too, because you get a lot of people too. And you may be sitting back thinking, that's not manipulation. That is a form of manipulation, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. We all do magic every day. You know what I'm saying? It's your fault you don't know what you're doing. That's why you manifesting a lot of bad shit in your life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying that to Geminis. I'm saying that in general. But as far as the Geminis, is Geminis about that life? Loyalty? Yes and no. Because, you know, you just don't know. You may come across that Gemini that may be the way they start to communicate and think to themselves. They may, if they, depending on how they grew up and the surroundings they in and the people that they relate to themselves to, if they're around a lot of people who cherish and relationships and care for relationships, then you may come across a Gemini that, because that's their way of thinking, how everybody else communicate, and their way of receiving information, their way of communicating and thinking. So they think this is the way it's supposed to go. So you can come across a loyal Gemini like that, but then they may switch up at times and get back thinking that they should be loyal to what they should be personally doing. And then I can throw that person off to the point that it just, the relationship go all bad. So like I say, Cancers. Cancers. Y'all Geminis, y'all go. And our Cancers. Alright, look. Now, Cancers. Cancers about that life. Loyalty. Let's check it out. The moon rules Cancer. What is Cancer? Cancer is the emotions. The reactions, how you react. So, Cancer's basic archetype, they react off other people's emotions. And this is their reactions. You make them react to something, it's going to be an emotional based reaction. You know what I'm saying? So, because they feel. You know what I'm saying? And reason why they care, just like the mother-daughter relationship with the moon and Venus. Venus is the fillers and is the feelings. The moon is the emotions, and you have to strike certain feelings to strike certain emotions. A person have to make you feel a certain way in order for you to develop some type of emotional stance about it. That's the thin line between emotions and feelings. Someone can make you feel a certain type of way, but it's up to you if you want to develop an emotional stance about it. That's like letting something go in one ear and not the other. Somebody tell you something because they want you to say, oh, I'm going to beat your ass. They want you to feel a certain way about it. If you let it go in one ear and not the other, then that's basically you created an emotional stance that you didn't give a fuck about what they said about it. So they try to make you feel a certain, they try to spark a feeling, but you didn't feel that feel because of the emotional stability you built around it. You didn't care about it. Now, say, so that's the thin line between it. But if, say, somebody throw a feeling at you, they say, I love you. And then you wanna love them back. They make you feel loved, so you build an emotional love awareness around for them. You know what I'm saying? So that makes you, if you decide to love them back, that's the emotional construct. So that's the thin line between love and the feelings. So the reason why I'm saying that for Cancers is because a lot of times Cancers feel, but they feel their emotions. And Venus doesn't really have nothing to do with Cancer. So Cancer may not feel you. They may not feel where you coming from. They may only care about where they're coming from. And when you try to tell them where you're coming from, you're going to get on their snapping side. So this also brings to the conclusion of why Cancer is cardinal. It's cardinal. What is cardinal? Initiation, creative of newness. So since what is water? Water, the emotions and the feelings. So Cancers initiate emotions and feelings. They don't relate like mutable or change like mutable. So they're not concerned about yours. The only time they're concerned about yours is when it's starting to penetrate and affect theirs. When your emotions and whatever you're doing start to affect their emotions, that's when they're going to get moody. Now, and then they're not fixed like Scorpios, where they only fixated on their own emotional, on their own emotions and feelings. You know what I'm saying? And maybe get stubborn to others. Cancers initiate new emotions and feelings. Yeah, emotions and feelings. So this is what makes them moody. Because at times in situations that certain things may be uncalled for. It may be everybody may be having a good time, so it may be an uncalled for time for you to come down in everybody. See, because you're trying to initiate a new way of feeling for everybody. Where everybody this way. You don't try to relate to and get in the mode of everybody else. You got your own way. If you don't give a fuck about the shit, you don't give a fuck about the shit. You know what I'm saying? So, boom. Now, Jupiter is exalted here. Jupiter is the planet of wisdom. It brings experiences in your life. So where there's experiences, there's learning processes. So Jupiter is the planet of learning. And how you learn, experience, gain wisdom in this space, time, and continuum that we in right now. Also, it's expansion. It expands wherever it's at, whether it's bad or good. So Jupiter, as a Cancer archetype, Jupiter expands the emotions. So this is why they can sense your emotions. Your emotions is expanded to them. The way you feel and the way you acting and stuff is they take it a little bit more personal to other people, because to them it's more expanded than how other people may take. Like a person may walk in a room in a bad mood, right? The Cancer may take that more personal than an air sign in the room, because the impact of your moodiness that when you came in the room impacted them more, because they're in that realm. And since Jupiter expand, and since Cancer is a water and cardinal water, it expands the emotions and the feelings. So your emotions and feelings get expanded to them, and they're able to pick it up, gain wisdom off of it, experience it, and see where you are in life. Now, when we talk about the fall, Mars falls here. So Mars is away here. So Mars falls. So Mars is sleep. Mars is sleep. Like it's when I say a planet is falling, that means it's sleep. So what happens when something is sleep? When something is sleep, it's in another illusion. It's in the yin realm. You know what I'm saying? So think of all the things that you can do in the yin realm. You can pick up on things that people can't see things that other people can't see. So when it comes to Mars, Cancers as a basic archetype can see people's intentions, see other people's intentions that other people may not be able to pick up on. For an example, a Cancer knows when someone is trying to play them, because they can see when a person come and their intentions is to rob the Cancer. The Cancer, it can see what that person may have thought they came up with was a good plan or not. The Cancer can see right through it and start to feel a certain way about it, because see, Mars is asleep here. You know what I'm saying? It's in a dream world here. So it can see what others can't see. Now, a lot of times it may do illusions. A lot of times it can get moody and think people are trying to play them that's not. Just my analogy. You could throw that down to anything in life. But sometimes they can do that and when people are not. But for the most part, they be right half of the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's Cancer. Cancer. So now, as far as relationships and like they got the caring, they got the nurturing quality. So is Cancer's about that life? Last but not least, Saturn is away here. So Saturn is at work. So Saturn is the planet of restrictions, boundaries, and limits. But it's also how one builds structure in one's life. So since I like to say when planets is away, it's at work. So since Saturn is at work in since Saturn is at work in Cancer, Cancers have to work towards gaining stability in their lives, emotional stability in their lives. They have to work on creating boundaries and restrictions and limits on their own emotions and not letting everyone in and not getting the same thing in return. They have to learn how to, in this lifetime, Cancers have to work on grounding themselves. They have to work on set schedule dating and being more practical and putting emotions aside and be more about business. You know what I'm saying? They have to do that more also here, and not to let everyone in before seeing if that person deserves to be in or not. You know what I'm saying? You can't be too comforting, too nurturing, too open to everyone that you help. You know what I'm saying? You can't nurture everybody. You can't water everybody's plants. You know what I'm saying? So, but as a basic whole archetype, is Cancer's about that life, loyalty? Yes. You break all that down? Yes. They about that life. And they stick with you to the end. Until you cross them emotionally. Then it just may be too much water on that bridge. They may not have burnt the bridge. They may not have, a tornado may not have came and broke the bridge like Earth. They may not have came and fucking a fucking heavy windstorm came, a tornado, and came and blew all the cars off the bridge like air. The bridge may just be flooded right now, and nobody want to walk on that bridge. Can't even drive on that bridge because the water too high. You may swerve off the bridge or something like that, to icy road or anything like that. So that's how this is right here when it comes to don't cross them emotionally. But Cancer is about that life, loyalty.